Tell me when you're done or when you're close to there.
Done.
Okay, make sure you look at the last paper or the third page that says instruction for completion, and make sure that you put a number next to each letter. So if you put I strongly agree, that's a 5. You put 5 in that box next to that letter, and then at the end you're going to have a total for each column, and then work out what your strongest number is for all of those. What we got, what our results were. And of course, this is an ironclad. I mean, it's one test. It's sometimes good to do a few, and to look at circumstance, life experience, and all those other things. But it's just a guide. So this is not set in stone or anything like that. It's just gives us a bit of an idea. So Tony, what while the others are finishing, what did you get? And then what was your highest score? Now, I just want to say that each area is a cluster of gifts. So it might say, counselling or so forth. They're a cluster of gifts. So it's kind of an area to focus on. But what were your highest scores?
Well, my highest one was not surprising for me. It was a supporter.
Okay, all right. So that's for serving roles. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my highest one.
And any other sort of close second?
Not really. The next one was probably teaching was the next one. On 3 less,
Okay, good. All right. David, what did you have?
Leadership was the highest one.
Sorry, what was the highest one?
Leadership, 5.
Okay, leadership, great.
Yeah, and then teaching was the next one.
Okay, leadership and teaching. Tony had serving and teaching. Okay, anyone else want to volunteer their answers? I don't know if we're still doing tests. We still haven't quite.
I'm still doing the tally at the end.
Okay, all right.
Look, you look at.
So you just add up the numbers, whatever number you got for each.
Support. These are just the columns.
Yeah.
Yes. Right? So 16
supporter
is a supporter.
Rightio.
All right. Your next one is
counselor
and
leader.
leadership.
Yeah.
And then your next one is teaching and shepherding and evangelizing.
Okay.
All right.
Rightio.
That's the way it falls. Okay. You heard Elizabeth. Tell your mind. I got 16 for supporter, and then we come in at a close tie of 13 for counsellor and teaching, and then it's
14 for leadership.
No. We go 16 supporter, 14 leadership, 13 is teaching and counsellor, and the last one is shepherding and evangelising. I really
don't
do that very well.
So the test has been fairly accurate, I think, maybe for most people. I mean, sure, it's not ironclad. We should always do maybe a few. Look at life, look at where God leads. There's a lot of ways. This is just one tool. But it does give some indication, some patterns.
I like to continue. That's so low.
Yeah. Sorry, you wanted to say something, Libby? What did you say?
Oh, I'm just reflecting on the results of mine, which is some of them are quite surprising. I really like teaching, and it's one of the lowest scores. So yeah, it's interesting. So yeah.
Okay. All right.
I have a good knowledge, I thought, of the Bible and and that sort of thing. So I'm quite happy giving Bible studies and doing that sort of thing. So, but I only got a 14 for that. So yeah.
Okay. John, what were your results?
I've got a toss-up between supporter and counsellor.
Okay.
With the highest score. Then the runners-up were shepherding and leadership. and lucky last was teaching.
Okay, but you know what? That sounds again reflective of you. As you were saying, you like the one-on-one. You like to discuss and share, and that kind of falls into the counselling, supporting kind of a situation. You know, that one-on-one, caring for people, chatting with them. You know, seeing where they're at. So I think the test has sort of shared some patterns about each person. Oh, Yvonne, yeah, what was yours?
The shepherding, supporter and shepherding were equal. Next, counsellor, and then the bottom one's leadership and teaching.
Okay, so you were saying you don't like to be up the front in that sort of sense. If you're going to lead, you'd prefer to lead from behind.
So they're the lowest ones for me, the teaching and the leadership.
Okay.
But supporting, shepherding, evangelism, and then, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. We're only missing one person, and that was Leah. I'm not sure if she's been able to finish hers. I'll just.
I'm finished it. I'm just tallying it up. It's just that some of the questions I found ambiguous, or I didn't quite get what they were getting at, and I'm probably overthinking it. But I'll be done in a minute.
Okay. All right, no worries. Okay, so there's some clear patterns. We all sort of see where we're at. Some of us love to serve. Some of us love to lead. Some of us love the, you know, sort of more counselling, shepherding, looking after people, sharing with them. We are all different. But those gifts, it's important to acknowledge what they are, to use them. And you know what? It's important to grow where we are at. I want to sort of finish with a couple of quick stories. And that is, for example, for me, the first time I ever publicly sort of preached a sermon, I actually absolutely hated the experience. I was 17 years old and I did a short sermonette and I hated it. And the reason I hated it is because I'm an introvert. And at that age, I was massively an introvert. I didn't speak much to people who I didn't know very well. So for me to speak in front of a group of people, I felt like throwing up and I did not enjoy it. However, there were people who said to me, we appreciated what you had to share. So I had positive feedback, even though I didn't like the experience at all. In fact, I said to God, I'm not going to be doing that again. And it wasn't for a very long time until I did it again. It was about 6 years later when I preached again. So it took me a long time. And it took some encouragement from other people, but it's not something that I would have naturally gravitated towards. However, I noticed that in doing things in small segments, it helped give me the confidence to do things that were bigger. And I think the more we allow ourselves to be stretched, even if we're stretched this much, our comfort zone grows that much. Then when we're comfortable in that space, God says, all right, take another little leap. He grows us again. Each time we step out of our comfort zone, even if it's just a millimeter, it's stretching us and helping us to grow. So whatever it is, even where God calls and you think, I can't, if God calls, answer, do what you can, and it helps just to do things slowly. For me, having studied to be a teacher gave me the confidence to preach. Having the confidence then to preach led me to do ministry. For me, it was a journey that started with teaching. I think if I hadn't have done teaching, I may not be where I am now. So wherever God leads you, that may be the stepping stone to something else. Leah, your results.
They won't be quite accurate because P and B I just missed because my biggest problem is because of what I do, feedback is not something I get regularly, so it's hard to know.
Okay.
Because 9-year-olds are not good at critiquing.
Yep.
They don't critique. They don't let you know usually if you're doing a good job. They're quite happy just to have you pay attention to them.
Oh, well, I can tell you for certain that you are.
I know that I do know that I'm appreciated and that kind of stuff, but they don't give you anything
sure.
specific.
Yep. Okay.
So pretty much supporter role was the highest one, and then teaching, counselling, leadership were on an even keel, but I missed one in the teaching section. And then shepherding and evangelism was last, but I also missed one in that one as well. So
Okay. Oh, that doesn't surprise me. The teaching I thought would be sort of pretty high up there. So
yeah.
all right, good stuff. So I'm going to, because I'm recording this, I'll remember this.
I think there's probably one thing to go along with what you say is that although people think they have a view of what they're good at, quite often others will have it. Like you said, there was a number of people who said to you, have you thought about doing this? I think you're good at this. And I think Ken and I, when we were in Pathfinders, and he's been with all the young kids, and the same in his position at work and in the position that I was in.